am Korede, this is Black Identity, and this is my testimony. So, what do I even do? First of all, I have a YouTube channel. It is called Lifeofkors, and my Instagram, my Twitter, and my Snapchat, so a lot of my social media is centered around that tag, Lifeofkors. It's essentially a lifestyle blog. Everything that happens in my life is essentially documented on the internet in some respects. I tend to share my own experiences, sometimes other people's experiences, and I sort of give advice on the basis of what I know. And when I don't know things, I try to find out from other people and sort of just try and engage with those people that follow me to, inspire them or help them in one way or another. I started my YouTube about 2 years ago, but my other social media platforms I've had for much longer. How did I sort of find that or come to that calling? I mean, more generally, I feel like God tends to speak to me through other people. It's not really a thing where I was sitting down one day and God just spoke to me and said, start a YouTube channel. No, it was never like that. It was more so a thing that people that have been following me for some time, I do have what I would call an engaging following as opposed to a large following. People that would engage with my content tended to say, oh, we want more, why don't you think about starting a YouTube channel? We think it'd be a really good idea. I was hearing this from so many people and I was thinking, look, I can't escape this anymore. Out of the mouths of many, a matter is established. So I just had to sort of run with it and give it a go, because you can't really knock something until you try. As much as I was dreading the idea of sitting in front of a camera, having to be energetic and charismatic all the time, exposing more of myself as much as I'd already started doing that in drips and drabs. But yeah, I mean, the dedicated following that I have was the encouragement, was what encouraged me to sort of start my YouTube channel. I mean, I was uploading videos quite frequently. I am on a hiatus as of now, but we'll get back into it, just because I was struggling, I mean, in first year to balance the YouTube channel and my degree. I was finding it very difficult to get both of them done, and both of them done to a really good standard, and because I'm paying God knows how much to be at university, the YouTube channel just had to take a back seat, because I'm not going to be in debt for no reason. I actually have to pass my degree and get that under wraps. Now that I'm sort of getting the hang of it, I think I'm going to come back, record some more videos and put out some more content for people, because people are bugging me and asking me where stuff is. But yeah, that is sort of how I discovered my calling in some respects. My business sort of started because of the encouragement I got from other people. How I discovered found my identity, not gonna lie, I am still discovering it. I feel like the journey to self-discovery has been really interesting. I don't feel like I really know myself completely yet. There are parts of me that I'm still trying to develop to the point where I'm happy and content with the person that I am. I'm even going to call 2019 the year of self-discovery and self-development, because that very much is one of the overarching goals I have for myself, sort of whittling down who I really am, what I really stand for, what my values are, and developing the things that I am happy about with myself right now. So yeah, my identity, we're getting there, but my calling, I feel like I know what it is. We just have to find a way to merge the two. My inspiration, I think, comes from my mother a lot of the time. My mom, she's like my favourite person. She wasn't for a long time, like we'd fight all the time, but I feel like that's because I'm very much like her. She is I guess just like me, a business owner. She is extremely passionate about what she does, however, and she's found a way to monetize what she is passionate about. Yeah, I mean, she's ever so encouraging. Like, she will always push me to do what it is I want to do, or what I feel like I am being called to do. She will never really question it. She will more so help me to make sure that the energy that I'm putting into things, or the effort that I'm putting into things, is worthwhile, so that I get the most out of things. And to me, that is fantastic. Like, she supports my passions throughout the years, because I'll tell you the honest truth, they have changed. Like, I grew up wanting to be a fashion designer, and then I knew I loved books. Like, I was a bookworm for years. I said I want to start a book club. She supported me in that. Tuition, like, she would always make sure that maybe I'm a tutor for somebody. She'll find a kid that needs my help, and then I'll tutor them. And now even with YouTube, like, when I was starting up, like, my mum will promo these things on Facebook. Like, all the aunties in church will be watching my videos, but that's off the basis that my mum is helping me. And yeah, no, she most certainly inspires me to continue doing what it is I want to at the time, or whatever I feel like is really the thing that I'm supposed to be doing. Just because I see her work ethic, I see her faith and her spirituality, and how she's merged those two to find a passion, a core passion, and to make a business out of it. Okay, how does my faith play a part or play a role in my general testimony? I mean, it's not even that it plays a part, it's very much the core. Like, it's the center of what I do, or I at least try to make sure that the relationship that I've built with God is what drives everything I do. It's especially being at university and being a creative. I have this discussion a lot with my friends. Like, it can be hard sometimes to ensure that God is the forefront, or in some respects, like being an influencer, or posting pictures on Instagram, monetizing off videos, or being sponsored for certain things, being sent things, or being an ambassador for some companies. Like, sometimes it's difficult to be the most modest person, or for your pictures to bear Christ-like values. Like, when you look at my pictures, is it Christ you see, or is it your typical influencer outfits, or settings, like going out all the time to clubs and being promoted by those sort of companies? How does one balance their faith and that? It's very difficult, I'll tell you the honest truth, and I have struggled with it over the few years that I've sort of done it. There are some things that you have to reject. There are some things that you do take on, sometimes regret taking it on, but in all honesty, it's a work in progress. Like, as much as I try my best to make sure that God drives everything, it can be hard, especially when you want to be successful in that realm. At times, sometimes you feel like you have to pick one or another, because you can't, or I personally could never compromise my faith or the walk that I have with God because of my online presence, which I guess is my business in some respects. It also gets hard because sometimes there are rainy days, or rainy periods rather. Like, sometimes it just doesn't bang like you might. I've tried recording videos for a very long time. Ever since I've stopped recording, or stopped uploading on YouTube rather, I would sit down, record a video, try to edit it, and think this quality is just whack, like it can't go anywhere, I can't put this out. Or for example, I might not necessarily be feeling my best. I might be having low moods, or not necessarily feeling too good, and then having to force a certain energy, or come with this fake happiness and charisma to make you guys feel like, yeah, I really want to be doing this, when there are times I just don't. Because it gets hard. Life actually gets in the way of some of these things, and it just means that you just don't want to do it. Remember that there's a reason why you're doing this, and the reason I do it is because I feel like God has called me to it. At this particular moment in time, it doesn't feel like it's what I should be doing, or it's not what I particularly want to. But there's a reason why, and I feel like God's calling for me, for you, for anyone really, is never really going to be to your detriment. I feel like he's called you to do this because it can only end well. It's what he wants for you. I don't think God really wants anything bad for his child. And no parent would want anything bad for their child at the end of the day. God has initially called me to it. It's almost reassuring that, yeah, it's what I'm meant to be doing. I try to keep a good sense of energy, make my content as Christ-filled as possible. But God has had to be patient with me on my discovery of myself, and the strengthening of my faith, to make sure that where I'm going, the journey that I've just started a few years ago, really continues in the right direction. But yeah, like, I feel like my faith is building, but I began with a faith that was the size of a mustard seed, and I've seen the successes, or I've reaped some successes of that through my, like, what I get, the returns of my business, I guess. But yeah, my faith has played a part, a major part. I wouldn't even say play a part. I feel like it's very much the core of what has become my business in some respects. I feel like it's so important to keep the relationship with God first, and to ensure that everything that you put out as a Black creative is God-driven, is God-centered, so that if someone looks at your post, like the same way if they see you on the street, they think, there's something different about it. That something different is your Christianity, is your relationship with Christ. I think there's no denying that sometimes it gets hard. Like, there are rainy days, rainy periods, there are off and down days when honestly things just don't bang. I can remember there was one particular period of time where I sat up, I tried to record a video like 12 times, absolutely hated it every single time, because I just felt like the quality wasn't good enough. I can be a perfectionist at times, yes, but at this point in time, it just wasn't really banging for me, and I was just thinking, God, is this really for me? I don't feel like I have the patience for it. Yeah, like, there will be times when it's like that, but at the same time, I do also have to constantly tell myself that this passion that I have for being a lifestyle blogger, YouTuber, whatever, on this calling very much comes from God. And it's reassurance that the down times are just a season, and that success is very much on the horizon, because at the end of the day, if God calls you to do something and you are his child, he's not going to set you up for failure. He very much wants you to succeed. There's a reason why he's called you to do that. God has really pulled through for me. I'll tell you that for free. He's been very patient as well in the discovery of myself. My faith has wavered over the years. It has been very strong at times. It has been very weak at times too. My relationship with God has very much been, we've been through our trials and tribulations, but at the end of the day, I do have to remember that what I'm doing is not just for myself, but it's very much for his kingdom, and it's very much to glorify him. That is why we're here at the end of the day. Like, it's very much a thing where my faith has had to be built, and anything that is built will have to be tested. It has been knocked over, we've had to regroup, we've had to rebuild, but it's very important that one keeps their faith, even if it's the size of a mustard seed. It's most definitely been hard to ensure that I'm still being a Christ-centered influencer, especially in this day and age where the flesh reigns, where worldly things, secular things very much are what is profitable, what people really want to see, are things that are not necessarily God ordained, what God really likes, what God really loves. We tend to see a lot of wild things on the internet at all times, really, and that is what people buy into. And in order to remain profitable and also keep the faith, also ensure that you are doing what ultimately makes God happy, has been hard. I'll tell you the honest truth. It means that sometimes there are deals you have to reject. There are some items of sponsorship that you cannot wear and post on the internet just because it's compromising to the faith that you have. And for me, honestly, I could never, because I know at the end of the day there's judgment that I have to face, and it cannot be me that's telling God that, oh, because I wanted another 800 likes, that I'm gonna now go and do something that is going to be detrimental to my relationship with God in the long run. It's not possible. So yeah, no, my faith most certainly is the core and is the center, the epicenter, the utmost epicenter of what I do, and I am still working on it 100%. I will not say I'm 100% there yet. I wouldn't say I'm perfect yet, but by His grace, we will get there, and we'll continue to try our best. Because that's literally all you can do. Do your best and sort of let God do the rest. How I use my platform to inspire other Black Christian youths. Very simply, I do it through my experiences. As I said in the beginning, I document my life, or what has happened in my life before, what's happening currently, what I sort of want to see in the future. I document those things so that even if it's just one person that is inspired or can learn from my mistakes and also learn from my achievements, I'm sort of content by that. I think Black young people need people to look up to. I think Christian Black young people also need someone to look up to, but not necessarily only to look up to, but someone to look towards as well. Like, even on a level, like, we are all around one another. I don't necessarily need to see you in a higher place, but just seeing you on your journey at the same time as me is encouraging enough, or is inspiring enough. Because I'm still a Black youth. I will always be Black. I will always be a Christian. And I'm still learning, so you might as well sort of learn alongside me as I'm going. So that if, for example, you're going through something similar, you can see what I'm doing. You can either do the same thing or not do it at all. But it will help you sort of better yourself, I guess, in the long run. But yeah, in a nutshell, that's me. Haven't gone into too much detail, but I feel like I've answered all the questions that I was given beforehand. So yeah. Hi, bye, rather. This has been Korede, Life of Kors. It's also been Black Identity, and that was my testimony.